Hey everyone, we just wanted to wish you a happy belated Valentine's Day for everyone here in ServiceMonster, unless of course you're a single owner-operator. That's right, that's the kind of award-winning material you guys can expect on the ServiceMonster show. All right guys, so all jokes aside, sorry we're coming a couple of days late. We had a crazy snow situation up here. Everyone was able to work from home for the most part, but it kind of brought up a great idea that Javi touched on last show, that this time of season, especially if you're doing outdoor work, pressure washing, window washing, anything in the northern states, this is the kind of time you guys want to devote to learning more about your CRM software and focusing on growth. So if you guys are interested in learning more, maybe on the marketing side of things, maybe some of the sales tools you haven't had time to dive into, go ahead and give us a call. Let us know. We'll be happy to train you. We've got live webinars that go over these topics. We can also schedule one-on-ones. We are here to make sure that you guys grow. That's our ultimate goal. Speaking of training, we've changed up our webinar schedule slightly so that now the sales and marketing are split into their own categories. We're going to link those pages here. So if any of you are newer users, or if you really just want to maybe sit in, kind of have that classroom environment, learn from others as I go through the system in here, we'd be happy to have you. On that note as well, there's going to be a new face on the next ServiceMonster show. So if you guys are curious who that might be, make sure you tune in. I'm sure some of you have already been aware of this, but we also, just a couple of days after the last show came out, had a brand new update for the mobile technician app. That's right, update 1.1.5 was released out to the wild a week and a half ago, and I'm going to show you all about it in this week's Tip of the Week. All right, so for those of you who are already familiar, I am going to go a brief introduction to the tech app. So I apologize, but we'll go over everything that's new as well in the update. Kind of treat this as a 2-for-1 special. So the technician app is designed to be an app specifically for the technicians. Go figure. We want to make sure that they have an ability to see what work are they doing that day, be able to complete out those jobs and move on with their schedule, but nothing else. So because of this, the technician app is only going to show jobs you're already assigned to. If you need to create new orders or put new accounts in, we have a different application for that. That's not what we're focused on here. When you first log on, you're going to check that date and you're going to see all the jobs you have assigned to you in order for you to work through and process. You'll also notice a dashboard. It's going to show you the total revenue that you can bring in, as well as possible upsells. So if you are on a commission-based system, you can track that and incentivize that work. Once you've selected the job that you're working on currently, you'll be able to see the ability right at the start to check in or check out. Well, good news, everyone, the GPS functionality has been added back into this. So your technicians check into the job, it will send a GPS locator to that location so you can verify that they are actually on the job. We also now have the Google Maps error that was having the blank space there. Well, the map now is visible again. I know everyone's going to be excited to see that. And again, if you click on that map, it will give you the direct Google route for the technician to find the location that they're driving. You'll also see across this in a blue bar the ability to take some things right off the bat. For instance, you can take photos, you can collect payment, maybe if they're having a deposit before the job, and you can also send a text message through ServiceMonster itself rather than through your phone texting app. This is a great feature because now your technicians won't be required to give their personal phone number when communicating with the clients. You can build templates for them, such as on our way, running late, running early, etc. And they can just grab that, shoot off the message on the way. Don't have to worry about any dangerous texting or driving scenarios. So next, as we scroll down, you will see the notes area, and you can add a note or you can view notes that already exist in the system. So you can communicate with your tech through job or order notes, which are tied specifically to those jobs and orders. Or if you have kind of larger notes that need to be seen every time you go to that location, or every time this account is brought up, you can have account and site notes respectively. All right, so now let's actually get into the order. We're on site, our technician's ready to get going. This is where the magic happens. So another new feature is at the top of the order screen now, you can actually see a breakdown of discount, tax, any information that the technician might need to see ahead of time to let the customer know that offhand, this is what is being applied to where. From here, your technicians will either add line items if they're building them from scratch, or they can edit the line items you've already created to indicate the price and total square footage, quantity, etc. to build that order out. Now, the really cool thing is what's been added to this is now you can very easily see any service items you've attached. If you guys don't know what service items are, think of it as a way of keeping track of rooms or areas or anything that involves square footage or quantity that you can save on that site's location they can use for any repeat business. Now the really cool trick about that is we can assign those different rooms, areas, etc. to the various line items and quickly and easily see the square footage amounts or the quantity difference, as well as brand new feature, being able to add those names to your description without erasing the existing description. I know some of you have really been asking for this for a long time, so if you have a detailed item default description, these will now add to the very end of that. If you scroll further down, you can see the option you can download or upload. So maybe if you're going to an area that has poor cell reception, you want to download the order ahead of time, or if you have a file that's saved on your phone, you want to upload to the order for later viewing, maybe the desktop or for printing purposes, you can now do so. And last but not least, we come to the complete job section. So when you hit that complete job, you're going to get this nice little checklist where you can go through basically your end of job scenario. So you can show the invoice review to the customer. They can see exactly what the charges are, what they're going to owe. You can collect a signature right there on the spot. You can actually repeat this process as many times as needed if there are multiple clients involved. From here, we also have a reminder to take any after photos. I know some of you probably are begging your techs to make sure they get the photos before and after. Show off that work. Cover yourselves in case there is any dispute of any sort as far as the work that was done. If it works for your office hierarchy, you can also have the technicians convert that order to invoice. So we can close out that entire order and move that forward. If you prefer to have that be kind of an end of the office scenario where they bring it back and you guys convert it, you can still do that. They can just skip that step. They can also apply a payment out in the field. So if it's cash or a check, easy enough. You can go through that process, select the amount. If it's a credit card, you can either use your third-party app, depending on who your merchant credit card provider is, make sure that the payment is authorized and then indicated as such in ServiceMonster, or if you have Stripe or authorized.net, you can actually do that process right here on the app, as long as those softwares are integrated together. Next, we can take all of the information that we just had, and we can actually email a receipt or a copy of that invoice to the customer, right? So make sure in the attachments area you include any photos you might want, the signature line if they want a copy of that, and make sure that they select a template or have a template available for them so they can easily access that thank you, here's your receipt, etc. Maybe you want to ask for a review, things like that. You can have that ready for them to go, shoot that email off, and they're finished. From here, they can complete the job, they can check out of that location, they can return their home and work on to the next. You'll also notice that after it's invoiced out, after the job's completed, their dashboard will automatically update, giving them sort of a checklist of sorts to make sure that their daily process is being handled. All right, guys, it's time to go over some Smug posts. So always a shout out to our community. We appreciate you greatly. Russell, thanks so much for taking the time. You noticed right away when the mobile update went out. I know you were excited. You let Brian know immediately of a couple of things that needed to be fixed, but you also voiced your appreciation for him. He worked really hard on this update. We're all super excited for it. So thank you again for your feedback. So Vladdy posted an interesting poll in Smug a week or so ago. It was basically asking users how they felt about swapping from ServiceMonster version 5 to ServiceMonster version 6. The results were there. A lot of our users who are using 6, expressed that there is definitely a learning curve. Joe himself even posted on here explaining that, change is difficult. Once we get set in our ways, we don't necessarily want to change. This was actually a really great way of community feedback, kind of everyone kind of banding together, giving their honest opinions, and we all appreciate that. And I hope that Vladdy, makes a decision one way or the other. And we're here to help if you want some training on kind of that transition from 5 to 6 and how to best go about that for your company. All right, guys, as we wind down another exciting episode of the show, thank you so much for your attention. Go ahead and take a look at that technician app, maybe if it's for the first time or if you want to see some of those updates. Tune in next time for our exciting guest appearance. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like what you see. Go ahead and give us a call if you have questions, and we'll see you next time.